Hi everyone, welcome to our reading lessons. Are you ready for today's article? Let's get started. Titanic. The Titanic, a gigantic ship that people believed couldn't sink, hit an iceberg on its first trip in 1912, causing a terrible disaster. More than 1,500 people lost their lives, which shocked the world. These tragic events reveal problems like not having enough lifeboats and poor communication system on board. After the Titanic sank, rules to make traveling on ships safer were made, and the International Ice Patrol was created. The Titanic story reminds us that being too sure about something and not having proper safety measures can have very bad results, especially in transportation and engineering.
Okay, now let's take a look of today's article. Okay, the topic, Titanic. Titanic. So I believe a lot of you must know or heard about the story. Okay, Titanic. 这艘船呢叫做铁达尼号咯，相信大家都多少有听过关于它的故事。So the Titanic, a gigantic ship. Gigantic means huge. Okay, very, very big. 是一艘这个巨大的 ship. Okay, gigantic, 巨大的。That people believed couldn't sink. Okay, that people believed. 人们相信什么呢？That the Titanic couldn't sink. Believed the Titanic couldn't sink. So 这个 that 指的呢就是这个 Titanic 的意思。Okay. Hit an iceberg. Iceberg 是冰山。Hit an iceberg. So when the Titanic, okay, on its first trip, 那它是撞到这个 iceberg, 撞到冰山而沉没的。So as we know that what we can see, the iceberg, what we can see is just the ones that over, okay? But what is under the sea, how big the size is, we can't see it. So on its first trip in 1912, so you can do a little calculation, see how many years ago? Yeah, it was like over 100 years ago when it happened. So at that time, the technology and everything was not that good. So posing a terrible disaster. Disaster, 悲剧的意思 okay? Disaster, a terrible disaster, 很严重的一个事件，意外事件。More than 1,500 people lost their lives. So 超过这么多1500个人 okay, 遇难了 in this tragedy. Which shocked the world. Which shocked the world. Shock 这边指的是震惊 okay? Remember on the first sentence it says people believed it couldn't sink. 人们都相信这艘船是不会沉的。那在它的出航首航呢就发生了这样子的意外，所以震惊了整个世界。These tragic events, tragic 是悲剧的意思，那 event 是事件 ，so the tragic events 这个悲剧的事件呢，just the same meaning as disaster. Okay? Revealed problems, revealed 这边呢 ，reveal 的意思是揭露了、揭示了，可以显露出什么呢 ？Revealed problems like not having enough lifeboats. Okay, lifeboats 救生艇。So on these gigantic ship, they don't have enough lifeboats for all the passengers. Okay. And poor communication systems on board. On board 的意思呢是在船上的意思。On board. Poor, of course, here means bad, not good. 这边指的是不好的 ，OK？ 当然不是贫穷的意思啦。Poor communication systems， 一个不好的沟通的系统。OK? After the Titanic sank， OK， 在这边呢 sank， 这是它的过去式咯。Rules to make traveling on ships safer were made. Rules were made. 这个 rules were made. 有一些新的规定就创立了。And the International Ice Patrol was created. International Ice Patrol. Patrol 的意思呢是巡逻的意思。那这边 International Ice Patrol 国际的滨海巡逻队 was created 就被创立了。So created 创建了。So what do they do？ 这个国际滨海巡逻队的工作是些什么呢 ？So they check on the safety of certain area， 那他们就会去检查这些 iceberg and notify the ships in the area， 那会通知航行的船只们。The Titanic story reminds us, remind 提醒的意思 ，remind us that being too sure about something。Being too sure 太过相信 So remember in the first sentence it says people believed it couldn't sink 人们相信它不会沉 But being too sure about something and not having proper safety measures Proper 是适当的 Proper safety measures Measures 呢它这边有很多的意思啦这个字 But in here Safety measures 指安全措施，像是刚刚提到这个救生艇的部分。Can have very bad results. Results 是结果，那会造成很不好的结果。Especially in transportation and engineering， 当然是在交通上面呢，交通上 engineering 跟工程上面会造成很不好的结果。So here, let's take a look.Of today's questions. Number 1. In this passage about the Titanic, what made the ship sinking particularly shocking? Okay, 为什么让它特别的让世界感到震惊呢 Why? Because, okay, it was the first ship to sail across the Atlantic Ocean. 是横跨大西洋的第一艘船只吗 Of course not.The ship was considered unsinkable. Okay, again, look at the word on 是不能的，它是一个否定的字首。Able 可以怎么样的 ，so unsinkable 是它不会沉没的。Considered 它被认为它不会沉没。And the ship hit an iceberg on a clear day, or the ship had an insufficient number of lifeboats. 那在这边呢？会让世界感到震惊呢是 because people think okay, the ship is unsinkable. Number 2, what was the main consequence of the Titanic disaster? 那这个悲剧发生了之后呢，它的后续产生的结果是什么？Consequence 是后果的意思，那这边指讲它主要的发生的后续是些什么呢？Okay, the creation of the International Ice Cream Patrol, not Ice Cream Patrol though. So, improved maritime safety regulation. Okay, so here maritime means the sea, the ocean, 就是在海上的 safety regulation, 安全的规定。We can see in the article the sentence says, okay, where is it? Here, rules were made. Okay, rules were made. 这个新的规定呢 were made. So this is probably our answer. Okay, now let's finish looking at other choices that we have here. Increase popularity of ocean cuisines. So increase 增加了 ，OK， 这个邮轮的受欢迎程度吗 ？I don't think so. the construction of more unsinkable ship. Okay, construction 建造更多不会沉没的船只嘛。So I think after the tragedy, people know that accidents do happen. So there's no ship can call itself unsinkable. According to the so here we should choose B to be our answer. Now number 3. According to the passage, why did the Titanic disaster lead to changes in maritime safety? Okay, why? Because of this disaster, we know there are problems, right? So, because here, inadequate lifeboat capacity and communication issues were revealed. Okay, 这个 inadequate 不足的、不足够的 lifeboat capacity 是指容量 ，so the numbers, people that it can hold in their lifeboats are not enough. 这边不足够、数量不够的救生艇跟 poor communication were revealed 被揭露出来了 ，so they lead to change in maritime safety. Number 4. What is the main lesson to be learned from Titanic tragedy as mentioned in the passage? 那文章里面提到我们学到了什么样的教训呢 ？Main lesson 这边的 lesson 是指教训的意思。因为这样子的悲剧，我们学习到了什么呢 ？Icebergs are constant threats to ships. Yes, but not just from Titanic, this tragedy, and it's not the main lesson that mentioned in the passage. Okay, B, it's important to have luxury accommodation on board. Luxury accommodation, 可以很就是奢华的这些 accommodation 的住宿嘛 ？Okay, no. Next one. Choice C, hubris and lack of safety measures can lead to disasters. 这个字呢指的是狂妄自大的意思。那在这边的 first sentence it keeps saying that people believe, it couldn't sink. 大家都相信这艘船是不会沉没的。所以因为这样子过度的相信呢 ，and lack of safety measures, 安全措施 can lead to disaster 会造成悲剧的发生。And last choice, D. Sinking ships are a common occurrence. 那船只的沉没是一个一般平常会发生的事情吗？船只是会沉没，但是我们不能说它是一般平常会发生的事情。So in here, we should choose C to be our answer. And that's all for today. I'll see you in the next reading lesson.